Hey, can you guys hear me okay? Hey, you guys getting audio okay? Can you hear me okay? Yeah, it is. It is a nice day. So I'm testing out this gimbal from DJI, and I'm thinking this isn't really gonna work for me. So I guess it kind of works, but not really. It's the biggest problem is that I have to use my phone to So my phone is basically doing all the heavy lifting here. It's just attached to a gimbal. It's a DJI 7P that I just got this weekend, um, and it's great, I guess, for handheld stuff. But the hard part is that I have to use my phone for everything else also, like listening to the scanner feeds and sharing the links to X and Telegram and uh, and other places. So I'm thinking about getting a different DJI, maybe something with a built-in camera that. Oh, and you can't do live streaming directly from the DJI Mimo app. You have to do it like from the YouTube app, which makes it even more difficult because you can't really use all the functionality on the gimbal, like start and stop and mute. And I guess you can use pan and tilt, but can't use the zoom. Can't really do much of anything because the phone is tied up doing the streaming. So I'm wondering if maybe I should get like a different setup, so I can have my phone separate, kind of doing all the things my phone's supposed to do, and and then maybe using like a separate, camera, like a standalone camera that actually works with streaming, like direct streaming from the DJI Mimo app. So any suggestions would be greatly appreciated. How's the video quality driving around? Does it um does it break up? Is it like choppy? Is it steady? Yeah, it would be. It would be a little jumpy. I guess as you go from cell tower to cell tower, it would break up a bit. Probably gonna need some kind of bonded cellular or something. This is starting to get really expensive. Well, I mean, not really. Just in my mind, it's starting to get really expensive. Bonded cellular, or like maybe I could do like a one of those. What's the what's the Wi-Fi satellite thing from SpaceX or whatever? What is it called? Jeez, I can't remember. There we go. I think I got the audio back now. Is the audio back? Does the video look bouncy at all? Because for me, it's bouncing around inside here, but I can't tell if the the phone is moving around so much that I can't tell if the video is like stable. Yeah, I'm not really happy with this setup, to be honest. It's not and it's great if you're, if it's handheld and if you don't have to do anything else on your device, but I think I need a separate I think I need a separate little camera with a gimbal, something that I can just, you know, I guess set up a stream beforehand and then just hit the record button or the start button or whatever and get the stream to go live. It's inevitable that I'm gonna have to have two devices. I guess it's not that much to ask, really. And I think that this DJI Mobile 7P is more for like film, so you can capture high quality video of like, action stuff, come back and edit it later. But yeah, I don't think it's great for ENG or news gathering, you know, particularly if you need your phone like to share links or respond to comments or whatever, or even just listening to the scanners. Be nice if the scanner was playing in the background. I could hear what was going on. Like right now, if I get a notification from Telegram, I'm not gonna be able to. I'm just not gonna be able to listen to it. I mean, maybe I'll be able to listen to it. I don't know. It's too cumbersome to use the one device for everything, I think. Not to mention the battery. I mean, 30 minutes. I've been streaming for 33 minutes so far, and the battery on the phone is has gone down by about 20%. which is normal, I guess. You know, from 85% to 65%. I see something that's going to be a little bit more um, easy to use. So I just got a notification that there's a child locked in a vehicle on Northeast 84th Street. Anybody see that on the, just came out on North. They slowed the units pretty quickly, so we can probably surmise that the child has been taken out of the vehicle. It's a hot day to have a child locked in a vehicle. Situations like that go south real fast. Hey Jared, how you doing? I'm doing great. Just testing out this new setup. I don't know how much you heard, but I got this DJI Mobile 7P. So I was doing that. I think it was Friday, if I'm not mistaken. It was that accident on US 1 and 27th Avenue, and it was really encouraging to uh, to hear you guys, ask me to do some more live. So I went and got this gimbal, um, thinking that I could kind of pseudo do this with my phone, but I've pretty much come to the realization that I'm going to need a separate device here because your phone is kind of tied up. The phone is kind of tied up doing the streaming. The gimbal's great, but the phone just, I need it. I need it for other stuff. So I think I'm going to need a gimbal setup with a separate camera that can stream directly. Um, any suggestions would be greatly appreciated. So how you been, Jared? I know I've seen you. I've seen you on here a few times in the chat and stuff. Thanks, Jared. I appreciate it, man. It's been uh, it's been a labor of love, that's for sure. I've been at this for I think going on 4 years now. Um, I don't know if you guys know the story of how or why I started this channel. But I've been listening to the police scanner has been a pastime of mine since I was a kid. Um, I've always been into like radio communications and just the cryptic nature of coded radio language is something that I always wanted to learn, and I found it fascinating. And then on top of that, the police work, um, kind of how they respond to calls and how quickly things happen, the coordination between agencies. It's always fascinated me one way or another. I've always had some kind of affinity or another for radio communications and police work, and especially scanner stuff. Mostly the technology, trying to figure out how to listen to it. How to listen to these trunk systems and configure radios to do it. So anyway, um, several years back, I mean, going on 4 years now, I guess. Um, I have this Uniden, this SDS 100 scanner that I used primarily to listen to to City of Miami. And there's four districts. There's channel 1, 3, 5, and 7, which are north, central, west and south, respectively. And what was happening was that, you can't listen to all four channels at the same time. You can tune into one, or you can scan across all of them, but you end up missing things that happen. So, like, if you're listening to channel 7 because something's going on there, but there's some, chase or some other thing that's going on channel 1, you just don't hear about it because you're kind of tuned into channel 7. So what I wanted was some kind of, the primary idea was I wanted to build some system that would alert me, um, you know, whenever there was a beep tone on channel 1. Say if I was listening to channel 7 and there was a beep tone on channel 1, how would I go about doing that? And I kind of started putting together a system where, you know, the system itself would just listen to each one of the separate districts and just wait for a beep tone, you know. And then when a beep tone would happen, and send out an alert, to a private Telegram channel, it was just for me, and that alert would then just prompt me to the idea was just to prompt me to change my channel, the scanner, to the channel where the alert happened. And then that just kind of ballooned out into, all right, well, maybe I should store this audio somewhere and be able to rewind and listen to it so I can go back just in case something's happening on two different channels. I don't want to miss channel, if something happens on channel 1 and also simultaneously on channel 3, I want to be able to go back and listen to it, not just live. And the the one solution that I found to be able to store all of this audio was YouTube, because you can just store it there and they don't charge you for it, you know? So that, kind of was like peeling back an onion, it's layers on top of layers on top of layers. And those of you who are longtime listeners, have basically seen the channel evolve from this, rudimentary, you know, notification system to this full-blown 24-hour a day, 7-day a week, radio system. It's all run from a Linux server. This happens on one single box. There's 4 antennas and 4 RTL STR dongles. All of it's configured to run automatically. There's a lot of software that I've written, over the years to handle little bits and bobs and pieces. There's Brain Bright Studio. Thank you. I appreciate it. So there's little bits and pieces, that kind of just automate the whole process, and it's gone from just simple notifications to now there's, um, live maps on the screen with orbs that pop up and notifications that get sent out to multiple different platforms, Telegram and X and Facebook, and there's even a shorts that are automatically, the shorts that you see on YouTube recently, those are automatically created based on um, on a rating system that I developed. And that rating system basically gives the yeah, I have, Jared. I have thought about doing rescue. In fact, I get people ask me all the time, hey, will you do rescue, or will you do, like, other parts of Dade County for police? The issue is that all of this stuff is very resource intensive, so I need a lot more hardware, in order to replicate this channel. The way that it sits right now is it's basically four different channels, basically on one machine. And right now it's at the very, very limit of what it can handle. So if in order for me to add another channel, I'd need to redo all the hardware. I need another box. I need more power backup. I need probably more batteries, more antennas. I could definitely replicate it. And then there's limits to YouTube. I'd have to start a separate channel, I'd have to be, instead of Miami PD scanner, it'd have to be something like Miami Fire scanner, something like that. Could I do it? Yeah, but it's expensive, man. It's not cheap, and it takes a lot of time to keep it going and maintain it. And you have to draw the line somewhere. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, you know, it's something that I've thought about. I'm not really enthusiastic about building a whole other box out, but could I do it? Yeah, I could do it. I think right now I need to figure out kind of the direction of this particular channel. I never really gave any thought to doing these live feeds until until I showed up at that accident on Friday, which was pretty cool. Um, and I did give it some thought, but not seriously. I think right now I'm just kind of trying to figure out what the best way to do it is. It has to be quick and efficient. Kind of like push button to go live kind of thing. Um, and then obviously to get the notifications out. The most important thing. Wait, I didn't see that. What did you? Wait, let me go read that again. It does little short videos. I love that it calls. Yeah, yeah. The shorts are actually auto generated. Um, there's basically what's happening there is I'm leveraging FFmpeg to capture like a essentially uh, like a 3-minute clip, right, from the live feeds, depending on where the beep tone happens, and then use some FFmpeg to go and do some magic and cut it down to 30 seconds and frame it properly. It has to be turned into a vertical video. Um, and then obviously all of that's made possible because of the transcripts. I mean, you can imagine how the transcripts play a role here. It couldn't do any of this. Couldn't have a rating system. Couldn't have the transcripts. You couldn't have any of that stuff without the live transcriptions, which are sometimes funny, by the way. I mean, I'll admit they're not perfect. It's definitely a work in progress. But all of those transcripts is something that I've been trying to do for years. And it wasn't until recently with the help of AI and language models from like Whisper, from OpenAI's Whisper, uh, that I was able to put that together. Obviously, having transcripts with near let's say 90% accuracy makes it very easy to automate a lot of this stuff, particularly when it comes to creating shorts. Those shorts are pushed out to YouTube. Like I said, on a rating system. I think that right now I have it set to like 7.5. So anything, it's a scale of 1 to 10, basically. If it's like a minor accident or something like that, that might be rated like a 4. So a short won't actually be made from that. But if it's two chats that are active right now, the only two chats that are active right now are you, one in LA, scanner one. You mean on YouTube? Like the like a live chat environment? Yeah, I mean, look, so oh yeah, 24/7. Yeah. Um yeah, you know what the thing is with this kind of channel that I've come to the realization is that there's police work, is mundane. It's a grind, just like anything else. It's basically these guys are out there doing their job every day, and to be honest, for the most part, it's boring. you know it's a traffic stop, or some type of a call for, like it's 90% of it is just boring. And then what ends up happening is that you have, like right now there's 14,400, and there's probably a handful of spectacular moments over the course of 4 years. There was the alien thing that happened in Bayside, that God knows why that blew up like that. Who knows who came up with the alien story, but that blew up. And then there was the person that was retiring from the force. Yeah, it's a lot of videos, Brain Bright Studios. That's a lot of videos. Um, there was the Madeline Garcia, I believe her name was, when she was retiring from, that she gave that speech on air, basically calling everybody out, you know. Uh, and then there's the stuff that happens, like, the robberies, and, you know, those draw a lot of attention. But yeah, 24/7, I don't think that anybody, I mean, there's a few of you, there's me for sure. And there's a few of you that actually listen 24/7. I see you on there, you know, just kind of listening there in the background. There's two or three people on, most of the time. Um, there's the night owls, the ones that can't sleep. I see you on there. I'm one of them. Um, what time do you listen, Jared? When are you usually on? There's a lot of construction going on here on 8th Street. Huh? Anyway, so enough about the channel. I mean, I'm sure you guys, uh, uh, know about the history. No, I haven't seen the choppers actually. I've been looking. I got a call about that, but I haven't seen them. 7 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. I usually have it on the background. If something pops off, I switch between. Yeah, that's what I do. I that's why I put the that alternative white noise. I that din of that radio traffic in the background is something that is always going on, and in my proximity. Let's see. El Marino says there was a one time Uber took off before the mother was able to remove the 2-month-old child. And I stopped listening. Oh yeah, yeah, that was pretty crazy actually. That was pretty insane. To be honest with you, it's disturbing how often people leave their children in cars. Um, I guess, I don't know. Uh, I guess it just happens often. But yeah, that Uber incident, and there was a few of them actually. That's happened a couple times. But yeah, that the two, what was it a 2-year-old or a 2-month-old? Yeah, I think it was a 2-month-old, but that was recently, wasn't it? Yeah, that was recently. That was a couple weeks ago, if that. a couple weeks ago at most, I think. I remember that. That was pretty insane. What about the guy that tried to that tried to rob? Um, I think it was a Pizza Hut. I think it was a Pizza Hut and the Kentucky Fried Chicken or something like that. Yeah, it did. It started as a 2-year-old and it came back as a 2-month-old. The funniest one to me was the guy that tried to rob the Pizza Hut and the Kentucky Fried Chicken, like at like at 7 o'clock in the morning or something like that. It's like, bro, you know, I mean, like, what are you thinking? It has to be going through your mind. It's like, you know, oh, I'm gonna rob this Kentucky Fried Chicken right before they open. It's like they haven't even had a chance to collect any money yet. Does anybody pay it cash anymore? Yeah. Like, how much could you get away with? And the guy was hiding. Yeah, Yeah, he was hiding in the bushes. They found him hiding in the bushes. That was insane. That was insane. That's one of the funniest calls ever. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of them are uh, are driven by drugs, one way or another. Horrible. Yeah, you know what, Jared? You're right. You're right. But typically the shifts overlap. You're talking about the police changing shifts. I think that's what you're talking about. If you are, yeah. But typically they overlap by like an hour. So around shift changes, you have more cops on the street than in between. Or in between shift changes, you have more cops on the streets than is typical. You know, at least from my experience. I mean, I'm not exactly sure how they do that, but I'm pretty sure that there's like an hour of overlap. Um, the lady was being lifted off the bridge. I don't remember that one. You're talking about the one that fell off the bridge when the bridge was opened? That she broke her leg or both of her legs? Yeah, I think that was a central. I think that was a central call. Could have been south, but it was the Brickle Bridge. Um, yeah, the lady was on the bridge apparently as it was opening and she fell. That's the stuff that nightmares are made of, dude. Like I'm pretty sure that there's people who have a real phobia or fear. Like it's. I'm sure that there's people whose worst nightmare is falling off of a bridge when it opens. You know, it sounds like something horrible to experience. So I'm moving into the downtown area, well, the Brickell area here. I'm by Brickell City Center. I'm not sure how good the reception is here, but it might get choppy. It might get some kind of choppy. We'll see. So I'm thinking in order to make this viable, this whole live streaming thing, I'm gonna need a separate device with a camera, not my phone, in order to add some stability to. Oh, look, somebody's getting arrested here. Wonder what happened here. That's weird. Anybody hear that call come out on South or West? 8th Street and Southwest Second, maybe first. So yeah, in order to make this viable, I think I'm gonna need at a minimum my phone as one device, a separate gimbal and camera, small, something from DJI probably, one of those mobile. I don't even know what the names are, but something like that. And I'm probably going to need a like a hotspot with an antenna, um, one of these Nighthawks, from T-Mobile, or even something that's bonded, like a bonded cellular. Yeah, yeah, Jared, I know. It's so I mean that Dade County, Miami-Dade County is represented in Broadcastify and that 50 app and whatever. But yeah, the whole idea um, was to get all four of those channels on YouTube. The Miami City, Miami. But yeah, I know I'm the only one doing it. I'm surprised, I'm surprised and not surprised. I mean, how many people are there that actually, are interested in radio scanner stuff? I'm sure there's a lot, but it does take quite a bit of effort to get that stuff out there. It's not easy. And then whenever AT&T decides that they want to bring their services down, well, there go your streams. Yeah, were the captions are those aren't easy. So I don't know how many people on here know about like large language models and how they work with live captioning. Um, but typically they're domain specific, so it's easy to do like long form captioning of like very clear spoken language, because it's how all the large language models are are created basically, so they're easy to get into a domain where you have, like, right now, the speaking that I'm doing here, as long as it's clear and articulate and standard English, or any language for that matter, but just like regular spoken language, like reading a book, for example, that's easy to do. But the doing the transcripts for this domain, which is police radio traffic, very narrow band, P25, digital radio, which is already super compressed to begin with. It sounds like it's thinner than AM radio. And then on top of that, it's coded language. So it's not standard cadence English. It's, codes and numbers and, dates and times and in 24-hour clock format. And, addresses are not standardized. And then on top of that, you have different accents for different people, and the way that the dispatchers speak versus the way that the officers speak. And I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a certain amount of structure to it, but there isn't a language model that can do it. So I had to train one, you know, um, and training it is exactly what you think. It's basically capturing all of the audio, putting on a pair of headphones, and sitting there and listening to the audio and transcribing it word for word, hours and hours and hours and hours of transcriptions, and then taking that corpus of data with the audio and feeding it into a model so that you can train it with the actual, um, with the actual spoken words, you know, unit numbers when it's unit numbers, times when it's times. You can imagine how a unit, when they say a unit number, like, I don't know, 13 1347, right? So 1347 can be somebody's unit number, and 1347 can be 1:47 p.m. You know, It could also be an address, 1347, so, Northwest 18th Avenue, 18th Avenue, or Northeast 5th Street, or Um, so yeah, it's a real mission. I'm not gonna lie. It takes some doing to get that to work. But it works. It's somewhat accurate. You know. How are you guys enjoying the the transcripts? What do you think about them? How would you improve them? There's there's a stadium. Oh, hey, how's the video? Is it shaky at all, or is it stable? Like when I'm going over bumps and stuff like that, do you guys notice, or is it like stable? Because for me, the this thing is bouncing around on my dashboard. It looks like it's crazy bouncing around. It looks to me like it's moving, but the video itself looks like it's stable. I can't tell. Yeah, that does. Brain Bright Studios says that the lingo's unknown, so it makes it easier to understand. Yeah, that's definitely true with the transcripts. The only problem is that when it gets it egregiously wrong, sometimes it's funny, Sometimes it's like, oh boy, you know. Um, with time though, and with more transcribing, manual transcribing, it should get better. It takes a crazy amount of time to do it. An hour of audio in real time, like real time audio, probably take 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours to transcribe. You know, um, and I think to have a viable, something close to 100%, you need like 100 hours of audio. So I mean, that's 400 to 600 hours of time to do it. It's pretty insane. Yeah, I get a lot of that. The transcripts. A lot of people message me on X, and even on YouTube. You know, that the transcripts are great for them. I like them too. I do. I use them. Um, I use them. I'll typically like zoom into the bottom left hand corner of the feeds, and I'll tap backward or forward depending on what I'm trying to find, and it's a lot easier for me to just read what's going on there, so that I can so I can find what I'm looking for. Basically, makes it a lot easier for me to find like specific parts of the video that I'm looking for. Not the video, but you know what I mean. The other thing too is, oh, so it's not like Blair Witch. Good, I like that. So it's stable. Yeah, I like this gimbal. It's nice, but I just can't, you know, I can't I can't not have the phone accessible to me. So it's either use this gimbal with another phone, or just come up with a different way. That's a lot of traffic.
You know, I'm gonna pull a left-hand turn here. Just kind of get out of this traffic.
I think these little delivery cars are awesome. And you think about where we were, you know, in the 80s and the 90s, on the cusp of the, of this stuff being viable, but just far away, And today you see these little GPS driven autonomous vehicles, all over downtown and Brickell. It's amazing to me. I mean, I understand thoroughly how the technology works, but and just think about that, man. There's little robots driving around delivering food to people and other stuff too. Do we have any drones delivering stuff in Miami? I've never seen one. Usually that's out like in rural areas, I would think, no? Oh, that's cool. Hmm. Hey guys, don't forget to click that like button. It it really helps with the with the viewership. Not really entirely sure how the YouTube algorithms work, but I know it really helps the channel. Um, it helps the reach of the channel when people click that like button. I'm guilty. I never click that like button ever, but you can take a second just to tap on it. That would be great. Man, it's funny how downtown it changes. It kind of changes and stays the same. It's crazy. I don't. You mean how do I hear it, or how do you hear it? I right now I can't hear anything. It's silent in here. I can't turn the lives on, and I mean, if I had a separate device, if I bring my scanner with me, I guess I could listen to it, but that kind of defeats the purpose. I mean, I haven't picked up my scanner in years, because it's just so much easier just to use this system to listen. But yeah, in order for me to listen to it, I'm gonna need to get a different gimbal. I definitely need to decouple my phone from doing this. Yeah, another phone would work. Um, another phone would work, but I think I don't know if that's the right option. I think the better option is to just get a DJI gimbal with a built-in camera, or maybe with like a GoPro or something that would allow for um, for streaming like directly to an RTMP, to the YouTube RTMP servers. And that way you just turn it on and press the start button or the record button or whatever it is, and it automatically starts transmitting. So it's its own little standalone device. And as long as it's connected to some Wi-Fi or something, like one of these hotspots or bonded cellular or anything, it'll just transmit. And then the phone would be a separate device, which would allow me to use it like I normally do, which would be to, click on the notifications, go to a particular thing that's going on, look at the feeds, listen to them, on Bluetooth here in the car, and then be able to use the separate, gimbal and camera. I think that's the easiest way to do it. I think that having two phones is probably too much. But yeah, a second phone would do it, I guess. Let's see, we're at 77 minutes now. We've lost another 20%. So we're at 65% battery about 30 minutes in. So you lose about 20% battery every 30 minutes. And that's the other thing, you know. The phone itself is going to consume a lot of battery. Um, the phone itself is going to consume a lot of battery while it's streaming. So I either need a power bank, or I need to attach the phone to, I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. But I think that this setup is definitely not it. This is the bridge. This is the bridge that the lady fell off of a couple of days ago. All right, guys. Well, it's been fun. This was a test I was doing, just a kind of proof of concept to see if I can get this to work, how stable it would be, and mainly if you guys can hear me. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching and listening. So yeah, I'm gonna go back to the drawing board here with the setup. I'm gonna do a little bit of research on some better, a little bit of a better setup for me, and hopefully next time I go live, it'll be uh, it'll be different, a little easier for me to manage. But again, thank you very, very much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Thanks for following me around for 80 minutes here on this on this journey through Miami. And thanks for tuning in. Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already done that. And see you soon.